Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about why your ex comes back when you're happy. So the universe is a little bit weird. It seems like sometimes you see this with dating, so I noticed this personally, right? So when I was dating, sometimes I'd have a bit of a dry spell where I wouldn't go on a date for like a few months. And then all of a sudden I would date one person and then like three other women would just come out of the woodwork, it seemed like out of nowhere. It seems like when you are feeling more abundant, that sort of thing sort of happens in your life. And the same goes for when your ex coming back when you're happy. Let's say you're in a new relationship now. Let's say that you have reached some sort of level of success or personal fulfillment and you're feeling really good right now, and then suddenly your ex comes back, right? And it throws a bit of a spanner in the works, right? So there is like a light and a dark side to this. So sometimes your ex will come back for good reasons, or sometimes an ex may come back for bad reasons or for like toxic, narcissistic reasons. So it all depends on, the ex that you're dealing with. Like obviously, you can really know your ex, and if this kind of applies to them, you should know them quite well if you was with them for a long time. So one of the reasons why your ex may come back is that you feel a lot more happier, perhaps a lot more content, and perhaps you haven't messaged your ex in a while. An ex who is like, let's say, not one of these toxic ones, who's like in the right frame of mind, they may come back because perhaps now that you have moved on, they can tell that you've moved on, they can sense that you've moved on. They now feel safe to talk to you again now. They now feel safe to, let's say, follow your Instagram or to add you as a friend on Facebook or something. Because they don't feel like, oh, they've moved on, so that means maybe now I can just be their friend or something like that. Or maybe now I can just, celebrate them from afar because, maybe they genuinely still care about you and they want to see you do good, right? So they may reconnect with you or try to reconnect with you because now they feel safe, like you're not going to keep on pursuing them, you're not going to beg or plead to get them back or anything like that. And now they can feel comfortable from just watching what you do from afar and celebrate you from afar. Or maybe they will actually genuinely now want to be friends with you and to hang out with you and perhaps reconnect on that level. But perhaps they're already happy, perhaps they're in a new relationship now, perhaps they're fulfilled in different ways, and now they just sort of want to reconnect with you in that sort of way. And that's someone who's got a good head on their shoulders, that's something that they may do. Another sort of lighter reason is they do want you back, and they want you back for the right reasons, right? They may want you back because they genuinely miss you. They may want you back now because perhaps they feel a lot more attracted to you again now that you've backed off and you've given them space, especially if they dumped you. Like if you gave them space and you graciously bowed out of their life, kind of accepting the breakup, but just kind of sitting back and be like, you know what, if you want to break up with me, that's fine, because I don't want to be with someone who doesn't love me, and you deserve to be with someone that loves you. And now they feel more attracted to you because you've given them that space. Now, of course, a toxic ex, someone who wasn't good for you, can also feel the same. They can also feel re-attracted to you now that you've given them space and you've walked away from them and you've been in no contact with them. So that's something that kind of overlaps. So what are some of the negative things, like what a negative ex may do? Someone who perhaps was a bit narcissistic, a bit egotistical. So one of the things they will do is they may be actually just testing you to see if you've moved on, right? So perhaps, let's say you over-pursued in the past, maybe you begged and pleaded with them once you said to them, like, this is finished. And basically they come back into your life, they start looking at your stories, or they add you, or they message you, or something like that. And basically it's all like a ruse to try and see if you've actually moved on. Because maybe what they do is they reach out to you or they add you expecting you to then do something in return. And basically if you do something in return, it kind of validates how they're feeling, like, oh yeah, I knew they weren't over me. And it's sort of like an egotistical thing. So, that's the next point I want to get into, and that is, it hurts their ego that you've moved on, and, they may be, hoping that you're going to fall back in love with them because it like massages their ego, it kind of like fulfills their need for attention, because they may not have an intention to genuinely try and get back with you and resolve things. It might be just that they just want to make sure that you still love them, that you're still obsessed with them, because it makes them feel good about themselves. And, it's not great. It's not great when people do this sort of thing, but people do that sort of thing, especially if they really are narcissistic in that sort of way, a bit toxic in that kind of way. They will try and reconnect with you when things seem like they were over, to try and see if you still are into them, to see if they're still going to get your attention in some way, which obviously isn't a good thing. So like I was saying at the beginning, the universe is really strange in this sort of way. It seems like when you're feeling more abundant, when you're feeling more good about yourself, that's when, these things start happening. Your ex starts coming back, or maybe you're dating someone and then suddenly loads of other people start like swiping, on you on dating websites, and you get an influx of people that want to date you and things like that. But it all comes from when you have like a more of an abundant mindset and you finally let go. Right? It's almost like we can all sense each other's desperation. So if you're in a very desperate state, like you're desperate to get a new girlfriend or boyfriend, or you're desperate to get your ex back, it's almost like they know in a way. Like it's almost like they can sense that energy about you, and the universe can sense that energy about you. And when you're in a desperate state, you tend to create more situations in your life where you're feeling more desperate. If you're desperate for a date, you'll probably go for a dry season where you don't get any dates, right? If you desperately want to get your ex back, that's when you're going to find them more aloof and distant and not speaking to you. Whereas if you feel more abundantly about life, like there's an abundance of people for me to date, there's an abundance of wealth for me, there's an abundance of things that I can do that I enjoy, and you start living from a more peaceful, relaxed place. And basically you've stopped taking yourself so seriously, and you're just sort of like rolling with the punches in a way, and you're much more happier and fulfilled. That's when, things start really changing for you. You think like, oh yeah, I need to be really desperate for something in order to get it. But that comes into like all different sorts of areas of your life. Like if you're desperate for money, then more than likely you will not find any money, right? It's things like that. Like it sort of works. It's like a universal law, shall we say. But when you're abundant and you feel abundant, that's when you attract more abundance. That's when you feel more abundant. That's when you get more abundance. It could be financial, it could be romantic. But when you're in that abundant state, that's when things start to work out for you. And that's why sometimes your ex comes back when you're happy, because there's like this vibe that you're sending out, it's like a signal, right? And that's why, that's why sometimes often you see when you get into a relationship, and then perhaps someone that rejected you, or old flames start coming back into your life, because you're now sending out a different vibe, and that vibe is abundance, and they can sense that. Like, and again, like if you're a man watching this, women are quite competitive. Like, so if a woman sees someone who was once into them now have a girlfriend, or a woman who you broke up with, or who broke up with you, and you're now in a new relationship, start to spy on you more, start to stalk your social media a bit more, may even message you and start reaching out a bit more, because women tend to be quite competitive in that arena. So it's a strange sort of world we live in, and I'm not saying that I condone that sort of behavior either. I think that kind of behavior is a bit toxic, and I feel like if someone's doing that, then they need to focus on their own priorities and their own life, and take the focus off of other romantic people. But we are animals. We we are these sort of like strange creatures on roaming this planet, and we do have strange behaviors that sometimes we can't really control, because we are essentially just advanced animals. So we do have like animalistic behavior about ourselves, and competition is one of those things, right? And that's sometimes what drives people to try and get back with an ex, because it's all about the competition. It's all about the hunt, right? It's just that now we're not hunting deer, we have, or whatever it may be, hunting and gathering anymore. We're doing it in different areas because of like the new world of social media and, all this kind of new stuff. So it's kind of like we have these ancient animalistic brains, but we're in a different futuristic arena, shall we say. So, that's my thoughts on, why your ex comes back when you're happy. It's all about your mindset. If you feel really good right now, if you're feeling abundant, you're going to be attracting more abundance into your life in all sorts of different areas. So it's a good mindset to have, but just don't be tricked into going back to an ex that was toxic or bad for you. So don't let it fool you, you know, keep cool, keep your head on, you know, keep your head screwed on basically, and don't get lost in the nostalgia of the ex and the old relationship, because it was probably bad for you. 9 times out of 10, like 90% of the time, you shouldn't be getting back with an ex, because your ex is an ex for a reason. And if a breakup happened, then you should just allow that and just let it be, because often, you know, if you do get back with the ex, it usually still ends within the first 3 months anyway. So that's something that you need to think about and consider. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Bye.